What up, sports fans? This is Jake Waxman
and Tyler Lavalette
of Two Guys Talk Sports with another Friday Roundtable on this beautiful January 24th of the year 2025. We're ready to get things rocking and rolling. Tyler Lavalette, spin the wheel.
All right. Well, the Lions season ended pretty early last Saturday night with their loss to the Commanders. And as a result, Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator, went to the Chicago Bears. And what just happened yesterday was Aaron Glenn going to the New York Jets, both from the defensive coordinator. Both men are set to go into their first head coaching positions as a result heading into next season.
All right, I'll start this up. All right, I know I said this in my wax on Wednesday, but all right, I know you Lions fans don't want to hear me say this, but I'm stoked. The Bears got their guy. They were targeting Ben Johnson from the very start. I thought for sure they were going to muck this up somehow. I was going to be so angry. Like, we're going to end up settling for like Mike McCarthy or Pete Carroll. But that didn't happen, and I'm excited about it. Hopefully it works out for the Bears. If not, hey, I'm still not disappointed in the fact that they got Ben Johnson. I feel like this is the right guy, not just for Caleb Williams, but for that Bears team, because he brings a unique offense. I said this, wherever he goes and gets his first NFL head coaching job, he's going to bring a unique spin in terms of NFL offenses. He is going to bring creativity, and he's not afraid to take chances. So it didn't work out as well in the Lions game when he had Jameson Williams throw of the football, but it ended up being an interception. But that goes to show you that Ben Johnson, he's not afraid to reach into the bag of tricks that he has. So really excited about having Ben Johnson. Now, in terms of Aaron Glenn, how fitting. He was drafted by the New York Jets. He played for the New York Jets, and now it's a homecoming for Aaron Glenn. He is going to be the coach. It's kind of a full circle moment. And Aaron Glenn himself said he wanted the New York Jets job, and he got it. All right, Tyler, I'll send it back to you.
And look, that's all well and good. I wish them both well in their new coaching position. It's just the Lions fan, obviously, is not happy about Ben going to a divisional rival. But beggars can't be choosers. And an NFC North champion division-winning team isn't going to always have a 6-0 record like the Lions did when in their division. So that's something that we're going to have to expect going forward. Also, I'm glad we just know that Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes, they're going to be looking for some good offensive and defensive coordinators that could help fit the system pretty well. Do I like our chances going forward? Definitely. Campbell said as much that he said that the window was still wide open for a Super Bowl run. Let's just hope we don't have as many defensive injuries going forward. That was really what did us in last Saturday.
Absolutely agree with Tyler Lavalette, especially when I talked about the Lions in my wax on Wednesday. One of the big reasons, I said it was a team loss for them against the Commanders on Saturday night, and one of the big reasons was the defensive injuries. It finally caught up with them, and unfortunately at probably the worst possible time, without doubt. So, but that being said, Lions fans, I don't think it's over yet for your team. I think they still got a few years to try not only to just get to the Super Bowl, but to win it too. You got a great coach in Dan Campbell. I think he is one of those guys that knows what he's doing. He will find guys that he likes and implement them into his coaching staff. He'll find a good offensive coordinator and a good defensive coordinator. In fact, this could be one of those unique situations where the Lions have a coach where maybe coordinators look as good as they do because Dan Campbell is a fantastic head coach. And if that's the case, as a Bears fan, okay, I probably should be worried then because maybe Ben Johnson won't be as good outside of Detroit because Dan Campbell made him look good. Time will tell about that. I mean, don't get me wrong, okay? Bears, they didn't stink up this hire. They made the right hire. They got Ben Johnson. They got their guy. I said either Ben Johnson or Mike Vrabel. If they get one of those guys, I'd be happy, and they got one of those guys. So I stand by that. But that being said, all right, this Lions team, they should be able to to have most of their pieces should be back next year. I don't know I mean, not all the guys, but some of them will be back, and probably the most critical pieces. So the thing is, I think they still got 1 to 2 good years before cap hell comes knocking on their door. I'll send it back to you, Tyler.
Yeah, I still like our chances regardless. We're going to be picking 28th in the draft. We'll need some good help on defense, and also getting a few good third-round picks as compensatory for Aaron Glenn getting hired by the Jets because him being a minority and all. But even still, yeah, like you said, I like the chances. And here's the crazy thing to think about. We haven't had coaching staff from the Lions be considered for other teams since the Kennedy administration. That's how long it's been.
The Kennedy administration? That's a long time. Whew. That's the 1960s we're talking about, Tyler. Am I right? Holy cow.
That it is. It's just been that long.
Wow. And to think, and this is before the Super Bowl era, where both of our teams were pretty much, they were gold standards of the NFL. And yes, that's right. Detroit in the pre-Super Bowl era, and same with Chicago, they were the envy of the NFL. Back to you, Tyler.
At least you have a Super Bowl title.
Yeah, that's true, but it's been a long time. And you know what? It was before my time. I just, I want to celebrate it, but really I can't because this was before my time, all right? Long before my time. I can't claim that ring.
Yeah, I can't even claim any NFL championship rings either or Tiger World Series titles either, so I feel you.
Yeah. But hey, there's hope for the Lions, and I don't think it's over yet. I think what happened in this, there's going to be a lot for the Lions to learn from this playoff loss, but I think they do the right things going forward. This will just be a hiccup in what was otherwise probably the greatest season in Lions history.
Yep. And I'll leave it at that. I still like our chances going forward. Anyway, Jake, even with the Lions' loss, we still have 3 more NFL games this season, and 2 of which are this Sunday. Shall we talk about them?
Let's go ahead then. So what we got this weekend, for those of you who watch football or those who don't watch football, we have the American Football Conference Championship and the National Football Conference Championship. And the winner of both of those games will be Super Bowl bound. So we will start by previewing the National Football Conference Championship. That's the one that will be played first between the Washington Commanders and those Philadelphia Eagles. Now, before I really get into analysis, okay, there's something on my mind here. This happened this week, and oh goodness, you want to talk about a bit of a blunder? So the mayor of Philadelphia, she decided to lead an Eagles chant. Well, let's just say that went really bad. She chanted E-L-G-L-E-S. Elgles? I'm pretty sure Eagles is spelled E-A-G-L-E-S. Go for it, Tyler.
Did you see my face?
Yeah, did we all just see that face?
I know some people say I-G-G-L-E-S, but E-L-E-G-L-E-S? What? Man, I wish we had footage of that on YouTube.
There are videos out there, but due to some very strict restrictions, I could not get video of it. But let me show you guys my reaction. Yep. Look, God bless the mayor of Philadelphia. God bless her. God bless her heart. I know she's a big Eagles fan. She's trying her best. But yikes. E-A, not E-L, okay? Just trying to help you out there.
Look, I don't know how my New Jersey family relatives I have in the Cherry Hill area are reacting to that. Not that she's their mayor at all, but being Eagles fans and all, I think I'm going to have to ask them about that.
Yeah, you might have to. And you know what? I'm also to end off this part of the subject, I'm a little worried about how Philly feels about their mayor now. I mean, she butchered the name. I'm worried now that they're gonna find her office and then storm the office and be like, "You did not just misspell the name. How dare you!" Boo.
Anyway, let's just get down to the
Yeah.
actual event in question on Sunday afternoon, shall we?
Yeah. Sorry to sidetrack you all, but Commanders and the Eagles. This is a fantastic matchup. All right, so the Eagles got here because they beat the Rams. I mean, they took advantage of the snowy conditions and were able to overwhelm the Los Angeles Rams, force them to turn the ball over. It was that the Rams, I mean, they could have won that game, but turnovers was killer, and they got that pressure on Matthew Stafford. And then the Commanders, of course, they upset the Lions, and Jaden Daniels, okay, we're definitely watching a star in the NFL. There is no question. I mean, Detroit's defense, they had no answer for Jaden Daniels. That guy, one of the things I also learned, and just short note, is that apparently he's been using some AI videos to help him prepare for matchups like this. He did this in college as well, and it's really paid off for him. Like, he looks like, I mean, he may be a rookie quarterback. He doesn't certainly look like one. He looks like a quarterback that's been playing 10 to 12 years. Go for it, Tyler.
That and his maturity level that we've been noticing. He helps try to de-escalate bad situations, and I've even seen him help get some Lions players get up too. He's showing a lot of maturity even to his own teammates and to opposing players. That's just something you don't see it with a rookie quarterback that I'm aware of.
Absolutely. And he just goes out there and he makes plays. You don't expect that out of rookies. You expect them to struggle. But Jaden Daniels, so many games this year, he just goes out there, he just throws that football. Receivers get open. They make great catches. But you know what? And granted, he has a great offensive line. He's got great wide receivers like Terry McLaurin. But for the most part, the Commanders, they have gotten as far as they have this season. They got a chance to go to the Super Bowl because it feels like they won the lottery when they got Jaden Daniels. Like, that kid, he came in ready to play. Washington, you got a quarterback. That is for sure. So going into this matchup, the big question for Philly is, can that defense, can they get pressure on Jaden Daniels? A different kind of pressure that he has not felt. Can they make him uncomfortable? Can they make him, can they get him out of the pocket? Make him do more than what he wants to do? Because when Jaden Daniels is in his rhythm, he's going to do whatever he wants. He's going to slice and dice defenses. And it's up to Philly to figure out how to stop him. Of course, Philly is at home for this game, but the Commanders have looked comfortable, and I mean very, very comfortable away from home. Go for it, Tyler.
Yes, that is true. Unfortunately for the Commanders, I feel like their luck is going to run out just before they reach the Super Bowl. Not saying that it's been a bad season for them at all. Not at all. I just think Philly's just, guys like Hurts and Barkley on offense are going to be too much for them to handle. I feel like it's going to be an Eagles 31-28 win. Close and competitive.
So Tyler's thinking, fly, Eagles, fly. Well, this is where we can agree to disagree.
Okay.
But that being said, I look at this matchup. Okay, Barkley, that's another question. Can the Commanders' defense stop Barkley? And I think they can. And if they can, I think it'll make this Eagles offense one-dimensional. And yes, I know the Eagles, they got weapons like A.J. Brown at wide receiver. But I also wonder how healthy Jalen Hurts is going to be. And if this Commanders defense is able to break through that Philly offensive line, I think the Commanders are going to have a great chance at winning this game. Now, with all that being said, looking through all the analytics, looking at all the matchups, look every little bit and piece of this game, I'm going with the Washington Commanders. I'm going with hail to the Commanders. And I'm going to go, it's going to be a very close game. I think Barkley's still going to have a great game, but Jaden Daniels, his legend, I think is going to grow right here. I think he is going to sling that ball. I am going to roll with the score of 34-27 Washington Commanders.
So we're both picking close matchups to start the NFC championship game. That's good. Now, let's see what we have for Buffalo and Kansas City in the AFC championship game in prime time.
The American Football Conference Championship. Okay, this is going to be an absolute treat. Here we go again. Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes. They meet again in the postseason. And you got two fantastic offenses, two fantastic defenses. Kansas City with that home field advantage. I'm looking to watch whether or not can this Buffalo Bills defense, can they get pressure on Mahomes? Can they avoid not getting penalties? That's going to be another key thing. Can they limit Travis Kelce? It's a lot. And in terms of the Kansas City Chiefs, do they still got that magic left in them? Mahomes should be good to go this time, and he's a master at the 3P. It's within sight for Kansas City, but that's also where the pressure is going to be at the highest. They got a great defense though, led by George Karlaftis, the Purdue Boilermaker. It's going to be a fantastic football game to watch. It's going to be so close. I mean, I'm still thinking things through on this. I'll let Tyler say more about this matchup while I think things through.
Absolutely. We saw these two teams play in Buffalo. Well, not Jake and I, but we saw them on TV, on CBS. There was a reason that matchup had the NFL Today crew there in Buffalo for a good reason. It's that good of a matchup, and this Sunday's going to be no different for CBS. Ratings are going to be huge. Here's where I see this. Kansas City, I'm sorry, but Josh Allen is going to be just enough of a mobile field general, more so than Mahomes, to lead the Bills to the Super Bowl appearance again and set up a rematch of the '92 Super Bowl with not 92 Super Bowl matchup, but I've upset denying the 3P by the Bills, 34-28. Bills win.
Ooh, it's a close one. Now that I've had some time to think it over, for once, it's probably not the first time, but in terms of the AFC Championship, all right, spoiler alert, me and Tyler we're on the same page on this one. For Super Bowl 59, I'm feeling Bills versus Commanders. I think Josh Allen and this Bills team, I think there's a lot of lessons that they have learned from their previous losses against the Kansas City Chiefs. And I think I just have a gut feeling. I'm going with my gut, my heart, and my mind. I think Josh Allen is going to have the game of his career, and he's going to – I think this Chiefs defense, they're going to get pressure on him, but they'll force him into some mistakes. But I think Josh Allen, he's going to rise to the challenge. He's going to face this adversity head on. And that's one of the big reasons why I think the Bills are going to win this game. And the running attack led by James Cook, it's going to be a lot for this Chiefs team to handle. And like Tyler said, there's the pressure of the 3P. And you know what? The Niners were in this position too back in the 90s before being upset by the New York Giants. I feel like history is going to repeat itself. And this Bills team, they are good enough. They've got that motivation. They are hungry. I've seen it throughout the season. So with all that being said, Mahomes, he's going to play well too, but I think this defense is going to get a critical turnover at a critical time, which is going to lead to the Bills scoring on a game-winning drive. I've got the Buffalo Bills winning by a score of 45-42.
Ooh, another close one. And that's how you really like to have these matchups. Close and exciting.
Oh, yeah. I feel like this is going to be one of those games of the century. Like, this is going to be a game that defines NFL history. I think, both sides, they're going to come out. They're going to be loaded. They're going to fight hard. It's going to be all about who makes a critical mistake at the worst time. And I think Buffalo, they're going to find a way. I mean, hey, they held on against a very good Baltimore Ravens team. I think they're going to find a way to hang with this Kansas City team and force them into a mistake. That's kind of what my gut tells me. It's going to be a repeat, kind of like what happened with the San Francisco 49ers in 1990. They were poised for a three-peat, and then they had a turnover, and the New York Giants capitalized and went on to beat the Buffalo Bills in an upset, ironically. Talk about NFL history. So, with all that being said, all right, I'm going to close it by saying this. I'm feeling Commanders and Bills, Super Bowl 59 in New Orleans.
Like I said, I'm going Eagles, Bills. Our divergence is that first game. We'll see who's right on that front. Now, we could both be wrong for the AFC Championship game, but we'll see.
Absolutely. But we're in for some great football this weekend. That is for sure. Both games, I think, are going to be exciting, you know? Everyone's talking about Jaden Daniels. Everyone's talking, like, in terms of the NFC Championship game. And then, of course, for the AFC title game, Josh Allen versus Patrick Mahomes. Who's going to have the next say? Who's going to have the bragging rights in this next chapter, in this next great matchup that will shape football history? That remains to be seen.
Absolutely.
What else is on your mind, Tyler Lavalette?
Well, we just witnessed history on Tuesday night in the 2025 Baseball BWHA Hall of Fame class. For the first time ever, a Japanese-born baseball player will be going to the Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, with Ichiro Suzuki being that lucky recipient. He goes in one vote shy of unanimous with a 99.7 of the votes. This still ensures that Mariano Rivera is the only player to go in unanimous by the writers. We don't know who made that vote against Ichiro or exactly why, but people aren't exactly happy that he's not unanimous. I mean, for a guy that has over 3,000 hits in the majors alone and avoided a good amount of hits in his time in Japan with the Oryx Blue Wave of the Nippon Professional Baseball, it's just, why? What was that one person thinking to not have him go in unanimous? Did he not get the opportunity to win a World Series with anyone? Was it because he's not from North America or the Caribbean or something? I don't know. I just don't know.
An unknown indeed. Here's my thoughts on this. All right, so he didn't get all the votes. But you know what? Let's not get too bogged down by that. As Tyler mentioned, 3,000 hits. You know, all that history. What matters is he's in, all right? You know, as long as a guy who deserves to get into the Baseball Hall of Fame or Cooperstown, as long as a guy who deserves to get in gets in, who cares how many of the votes he gets? Mm-hmm. All right? He is in, and deservedly so. Tyler mentioned the 3,000 hits. This guy was a legend. He is in, all right? You know, and it's kind of the same thing with the NFL. The guys who get into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, not all of them get all the votes. And you know what? It doesn't bother us. Hey, as long as they get it. And when you get it in, you get in, all right? That's the big thing. It's a glorious honor, and not everybody gets it.
Nope.
Gets the honor to be in such a very special club. So I'm happy for this guy. He deserves it. I will never think about, okay, did he get every vote? No. And as long as he got it in, and deservingly so, he got in. Because, hey, those numbers that Tyler mentioned in terms of hits, and not just in the U.S., but in Japan, hey, those numbers speak for him. All right? They don't lie. He deserved a spot in the Baseball Hall of Fame, and he's arrived, and he's getting ready to be inducted. When did you say the induction?
It's in July. I also want to not go over the fact that CC Sabathia got in as well, and Billy Wagner, famous closer, in his final year on the writer's ballot, gets a nod as well. Those three guys are making up the main class that go to Cooperstown.
That's pretty awesome. Especially hearing the story about one guy who's in his final year of eligibility, at long last, he gets in. That's always a feel-good story as well. Because across all the sports. There are guys who almost never get in that should be in, but just don't do the votes. So, and those guys should be remembered just as well. But for the guys that do get in, whenever you get in, it's an amazing accomplishment. And again, so happy for this man from Japan, he excelled in his home country and in the United States. Hey, that's greatness across the Pacific, if that's what you want to call it, because he had to travel across the Pacific to get from Japan to the United States.
Yep.
I'll send it back to you, Tyler.
And I'll just close it out with this. Don't be surprised if Ohtani gets in as well down the road. Because Ohtani is definitely one more great proof of the success that Ichiro did for position players from Japan. Beforehand, he had a good amount of pitchers coming over from the days of Hideo Nomo as well. So Ichiro blazed that trail for position players to come over here, too, to play in the majors.
Sounds like
And we're looking at Ohtani's success now. I feel like that's going to create a new generation pretty soon.
Without a doubt. Ichiro, congratulations on your Hall of Fame induction. Well-deserved. And kudos to that guy for starting a revolution here in the United States. Baseball players flying over from Japan to play in the major leagues and make their names known. And like Tyler said, yeah, Ohtani, he's going to get into the Hall of Fame. There's no question about it. What he did in Los Angeles in his first year, and he helped them win a World Series. Okay, that's legendary in and of itself. Just give him the jacket. All right, let's just give him the jacket.
Or a plaque or whatever it is. Yeah, he's going in.
Yeah, he's going to go in, but honestly, very great story to hear about, Tyler. Anything else you'd like to say?
Well, I hate that we have to end with a bad note, but this Sunday is going to mark 5 years since the world lost Kobe Bryant in a helicopter crash in California at the young age of 41, along with his daughter Gianna and others involved in the crash, including the pilot.
All right. Before I go any further, I just want to read off something to you, sports fans. It wasn't just Kobe Bryant that lost his life that day, and his daughter Gianna. So to list off the names, rest in peace. In addition, rest in peace, Kobe Bryant and Gianna Bryant. Rest in peace, John Altobelli and his wife Carrie and their daughter Alyssa. Rest in peace, Sarah Chester and her daughter Peyton Chester. And rest in peace, Christina Mauser, and rest in peace to the pilot, Ariel Zabayan. Rest in peace to all those victims. Very truly a sad story, and with today being the Friday the 24th of January, I guess it's fitting that we're talking about Kobe since he did wear the number 24, and one of the great legends who wore that number. But Kobe Bryant, he was more than just a basketball player. He did a lot of things, a lot of great things in life. I mean, obviously everybody's going to remember what he did in the NBA. And one thing, of course, everybody's going to remember the footwork that made him legendary. Can we see the clip of Kobe Bryant, please? So here we go. So one of the things that made Kobe Bryant as legendary as he was in the NBA. Look at this footwork. Look at this. There's not many players that could do that. Let's say you, Tyler.
Yeah. You see that forward right there in the replay in the second video? That's just impressive work. I would go back to the first one. No wonder they call him, and by extension him himself, Black Mamba. He had that name for a reason.
Yep, he could just, that footwork that he had allowed him to just, it looked like he was just slithering his way around defenders. Honestly, I've watched plenty of college basketball and some NBA, but I'm biased. I still think Michael Jordan was the great one, but if we're talking footwork, Kobe Bryant was the GOAT. Greatest of all time in basketball history in terms of footwork. Nobody had the footwork that Kobe Bryant had. That was one of the things that made him so legendary in the NBA. And that footwork helped him to win 5 NBA championships. He won the NBA MVP award in 2008, and in 2009 and 2010, he was the NBA Finals Most Valuable Player, just to list some of your accomplishments. Tyler, what say you about the Mamba mentality?
Well, he's a great player, and like we said, daily minutes. But we also need to think about what he did for girls basketball as well, because him being a girl dad really helped his perspective out there. He was such a role model for young girls as well, and it was relatable, like I mentioned, being a girl dad. I feel like the basketball world didn't just lose Kobe. The women's basketball world lost the opportunity to see what Gianna could have done.
I could not agree anymore with that. And keep in mind, when he retired from basketball, he also had his own basketball program, like his own team, and they were called the Mambas, which he named after him. Okay, so Kobe Bryant had an ego, okay? But a lot of humans have ego. I've got ego too, I'll admit that. It's a human trait. But he was doing so much in retirement for the game of basketball. Like, he had a basketball program, or his own little team called the Mambas, and his daughter Gianna was a part of that team, as well as a lot of other girls, some of which who were with him and Gianna on the helicopter that day. But I think he worked really hard, not only just to influence the game, but to create a pipeline for women to come through basketball, to come through the ranks, to help build up their basketball skills and get college offers. That's things that we should remember Kobe Bryant for. Like, there are guys out there who love their games, the game that they play so much that they're willing to do almost anything for it. And Kobe Bryant, he loved the game of basketball so much that he created his own team for the purpose of helping to develop basketball players and ones who not only would go to play college athletics, but to hopefully go pro someday. I mean, there's a lot of what ifs surrounding it. I mean, you think about it. Gianna Bryant. She was talented, too. She could ball out. I mean, like father, like daughter there. I would have loved to have seen what she would have done in women's college basketball. It would have been interesting to see who she would have signed with. And then the WNBA. Just a lot of what ifs there. Go ahead, Tyler.
It was clear that she was going to UConn. But yeah. And let's not forget, he also won a Academy Award for his animated film Dear Basketball that he narrated.
Tyler mentions another great achievement for Kobe Bryant outside of basketball, which brings me to this. In addition, not only was he a star in basketball, star in Los Angeles for basketball, I mean, we got Hollywood there. He made a lot of good films, and Tyler just mentioned one of them, Dear Basketball, which he won an Academy Award for. That was one of arguably his greatest work in terms of film. And others that we need to make note of, Kobe Bryant's Muse, that's another great one. And he also starred in that documentary about the Bulls called The Last Dance, their last championship. He was in, I think, episode 5 of that. So if there was if there was anything about basketball in Hollywood to be had, Kobe Bryant was going to be in it, because not only could he play basketball, he was a great actor too. So he leaves a legacy there as well. Back to you, Tyler.
I'll never forget watching some of the Pro Bowl coverage today where he died, and he had ABC interrupting him with breaking news coverage of first a helicopter crash and the possibility of him possibly losing his life, to it being official that he had, and the others in that crash were indeed gone. And that was how Jake said he would found out, that because I told him.
Yep. Tyler sent me a text message that day. That's how I learned about it. And I did turn on the news. There's nothing else I remember much about it besides just feeling numb inside, because I couldn't believe it. It's one of those days, definitely one of those days in sports history where you ask yourself, or we ask each other, where were you when Kobe Bryant perished? It just... that day I was just paralyzed, just numb. I couldn't believe it. And I will say, while I wasn't the biggest Kobe Bryant fan or the biggest NBA fan, to hear about something like that, like a great athlete losing his life in such a tragic accident, it just... it broke my heart.
And let's not forget, I feel like we have to understand that 2020 did not exactly turn out to be the best year of sports, thanks to all the events being suspended, events without fans later on, playoff bubbles for 3 of the 4 sports leagues.
Yeah.
It just was the start of just something bad for the sports fan base. And you just must have had that feeling back then that things weren't going to be pretty.
Yeah. When I think, you know what, another thing that I remember learning about Kobe Bryant's death that day, I just kind of felt this is a bad omen. Like something worse is going to come from it. And sure enough, I know sports fans, you would all like to just forget about 2020. I would too.
Believe me.
Really, probably not only the crappiest year in sports, crappiest year for humanity. It's 2020. We just like to bury it and just not even think about it anymore. And I just want to say this. You know what? It's hard to tell. I mean, it's hard to tell whether or not sports has truly recovered from this day. You know, when you lose, I mean, it's hard enough when you lose a family member in your family, but when like a community loses somebody, like whether it's sports or even just other communities, it's really tough. I mean, you try to move on. I mean, we've all tried to move on, and the sports world has tried to move forward, but it's hard to tell whether that's happened or not because Kobe Bryant's death has left a really giant void, not just in basketball, but in sports. There's a void that I think is still there, and whether or not we've really recovered from it is just maybe impossible to tell for years to come.
Agreed.
And I just also want to mention this. Kobe Bryant, he is survived by his wife Vanessa and his children, his other 3 daughters, Natalia, Bianca, and Capri. I hope things are going well for him. I hope they are finding peace in these. I hope they have at least found some peace in these 5 years since the departure of him and his daughter Gianna, as well as everyone who was on the helicopter that day. And I will also mention this: Kobe Bryant was a Catholic, a very devout Catholic. He believed in the power of prayer. Just want to mention that really quickly. So, all right, Tyler, any thoughts you have left?
Just that he is missed dearly, and it's great. And the fact that he spent a lot of time when he was young in Milan, and was a fan of AC Milan. The fact that they even took the time to do a moment of silence for him was just special. Well respected, and he is missed.
Absolutely. And I will try to close it out by saying this. All right, whether you know him for that game on January 22nd, 2006, the 81-point game versus the Raptors, or the things he did after basketball, like establish a program which young women could develop their basketball skills, like Gianna, for example. You know, Kobe Bryant, he did a lot of great things, not just in basketball, but outside of basketball. He contributed to the game in and out. And, you know, it took me 5 years to realize, because I didn't watch the NBA a lot. After 5 years, it's these things that he did, whether it be outside of basketball or inside of basketball. It was these things that he did, whether it was film or helping other basketball players become the best version of themselves. That's what made Kobe Bryant special. We should remember people by their contributions to the rest of society. And Kobe Bryant, he did a lot, not just for basketball, but for sports and pretty much the world all across. Mm-hmm. So I will close off by tipping my hat in remembrance of Kobe Bryant, the Black Mamba. God bless his family. All right. Anything else you'd like to say, Tyler Lavalette? Any other subjects in mind?
Not really.
All right. Sports fans, that is where we are going to end this podcast today. Hope you enjoy the football games. A couple other things going on. Me and Tyler got a little bit of a rivalry in terms of college sports. We got Purdue and Michigan playing each other tonight. It's a little Big Ten rivalry. battle of the founders of the Big Ten. They're playing in basketball tonight. Should be a really good game.
Mm-hmm.
Anything you'd like to say about that matchup?
Well, I just hope go blue, and he's probably going to want to boil her up to try to end things on a bit of a positive note there.
Yep. I'm hoping for a Purdue bounce back win. They're going to need it after losing to Ohio State. But I'm hoping for a good game too. Hopefully it's Wolverine, because Dusty May, he's a fantastic coach. It's a battle of two fantastic basketball minds between Matt Painter and Dusty May. We'll see how this game goes out. It's a game that could go either way, but should be a really, really good game.
That should be. And like I said, enjoy the football on Sunday afternoon, and in a few weeks we will discuss the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah. We'll get to that in good time. Sports fans, I hope you've enjoyed today's Two Guys Talk Sports Friday Roundtable. And just remember to follow us on Two Guys Talk Sports on Facebook, Two Guys Talk Sports and other things on YouTube. Feel free to subscribe if you like. And, hey, if you've got any questions for me and Tyler, we would love to answer it in our next Friday Roundtable. We love interacting with the sports fans. We just wanted to let you know that. And or if you want to just say anything else, comment. Feel free. We are here to interact with you. We want to have fun with our followers.
Absolutely.
And with now all that being said, I'd just like to thank you all for for those who watched. I want to thank you all for watching. Hope you guys have a great weekend. This is Jake Waxman.
And Tyler Lavalette.
We are signing off. Have a great weekend, everyone.